Because I've
There
got
we
some
go.
news going on.
Now we're live.
Okay,
Sure. You want to kick it off?
I guess so. Hi, everyone. I'm Tim Erickson, and we are here for the October 22nd Design and Usability meeting. We are recording this, so please turn off your YouTube or turn off your video if you don't want to be recorded and or mute yourself. But we welcome everyone to participate in these meetings with video and audio. Let's go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Tim Erickson, coming to you from Deerwood, Minnesota. A herd of wild turkeys is passing my window right now. And I'm here to talk about, well, I've got one or two things on the agenda we'll get to in a little bit. Gregory, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Greg. I'm joining from Greece, usually in Australia though. And I'm interested in UX in general in Backdrop. Haven't been keeping up with the issue queue or being able to in the past couple of weeks. So I'm just here to see if I can help and be updated on what's latest. Look.
Hi, I'm Luke McCormick, Web Product Manager in San Ramon, California. I also saw a herd of turkeys, flock of turkeys, I guess, there this morning. And I'm here to talk about user interface issues because they're one of the great things that you can complain bitterly about without knowing anything you're doing. Everybody likes to do that, so I'm happy to join in. Joseph?
I'm Joseph. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm just here to see how I can help. Maybe improving theme settings or color module or something like that.
Jen?
I think Jen.
Yeah.
I'm Jen Lampton. I'm in Oakland, California. I do not have a group of turkeys outside my window. I just Googled it. Apparently you can refer to a group of turkeys as a rafter of turkeys. But I did see one on yesterday morning in the pasture near my horse. So that was exciting. It's turkey season.
They're trying to get away. Yeah, they're trying to get away because of
they were
the
just
Thanksgiving
grazing
thing.
Getting fat.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I say herd because when they're running, they look like velociraptors. They're just so dinosaur-ish.
Well, I mean, that's, where they came from. So not surprising.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tim, do you want to go through the agenda or you want me to do it?
I could try.
Luke's here.
So do we have, do we want Luke to do it?
Well, we could just say
to do a theme and updates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Luke. So the first thing on our agenda is the theme initiative update. Luke, update us. You're muted, Luke. Yeah, I think that's intentional.
I should really look at the agenda. All right. Yeah, the ready to wear initiative. All right, so I'll just spew out the stuff that I've been intending to write all week, which is that it's all close, but like a rainbow, it just always just slightly out of reach. Lately, what I've been noticing is we have a ready-to-wear demo site running on Simplo, where we're prototyping a bunch of sort of the ideas, including switch theme and the style module, both of which answer the question and then betray to me that the question wasn't precisely what was missing, but they come kind of close. The style module, actually, style sheet module, did I have it right?
Style guide.
Style guide. Really kind of shows the challenge, because it kind of unhelpfully answers the right question. like you can click through the different themes, which is great. and then it shows you every single element, which is kind of not great because unless you're like a theme designer that knows exactly what you changed, it's just this dump of things, and it's just too much information to compare. But it's getting closer. Like the interface of the style guide module that puts the tabs where you can click on, you know, each of the individual tabs and it changes something. Perfect. The vision, and I'll just like blurt it out because I think it's attainable, but I've got like a number of different possible ways to do it. Is that kind of tabbed interface where the first page of content is more configurable and designed to be more useful. They're designed to kind of concentrate on one screen enough stuff to vary so that between the things that you tab across, you can see differences. Like it doesn't help if you click on each of like the 5 things and you see 5, you know, displays of H1 through H6 and they all look the same with like tiny little differences. It has to be sort of dramatic. So you can be like, you know, so you could click between them and get different perspectives. So roughly what I'm working with right now is kind of a 2-part thing. One part is a display demo, which would include that kind of tabbed interface, but that also includes some kind of display tabs too, which could be layouts, it could be content, it could be both, I'm not sure. And so you can be like, okay, you know, so the usability, the use case idea is I'm wanting to create a site. And so the first thing I would do would be to pick a representative content that's kind of like the thing that I want to do. If it's a blog or a news page or like an e-commerce thing, something that kind of looks like the thing that I have in mind that I'm trying to invent. Get that on the screen. And then be able to click through the themes and be like, okay, that one's, I mean, the one I keep going back to is, I guess it's Pretty in Purple is the name of the theme. And like, I can't imagine anyone ever using that, but at least it looks different. Like I can click on that and I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. I know it's working because it looks different. And so like at a minimum, I'd want like a black theme and a white theme so that, you know, you get some kind of dramatic difference. And then basically as many things like that as, like if it's not dramatically, if it's not obviously different when you click the button, then it's too subtle. And then it's not at the level of ready to wear. I mean, I'm looking for, you know, the blue suit or the red suit kind of experience. But I think we're kind of close. Now the other side of this, and this is actually what relates to the documentation thing, right? That there are pieces for getting an initial look going. And the pieces themselves aren't that complicated or hard to figure out if you can find them. But I've noticed as I do this that, okay, you know, I need to change the layout. That's in structure. And then I scroll down here and I find layout and then I click on this one. And, you know, about 5 clicks in, I find this absolutely critical part to how the site's gonna look. So it strikes me that's, you know, like the hard thing is to reimagine so people find it out of the box. But the easy thing, I think I'm gonna try to do like today, is a little step-by-step guide. Like first thing you do is, and then give them that long path to find that thing and like, you know, set up what your layout's gonna be. And you know, that's a necessary step for creating things. I still think it's also going to involve, you know, choosing your theme. But but yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There seems to be a lot of interest from people in like, how can I help? What are the next steps? Do you have like a next steps list? These are the things that we need to do now.
Yeah, I was just ranting them out there. Why don't I deliver it today? I've actually got a relatively open thing today. So here after the meeting, like by 5 o'clock Pacific time, I'll set out a list of steps, and then how do I what to do? I mean, the volunteers are always us, but like where should I deliver that? I tend to just toss into Zulip, which isn't as useful as probably I should put it on.
We have an issue for it already.
So yeah, this is an interesting question, and it's one I'm struggling with a bit, is how best to organize these initiatives. We have an issue in the Drupal core issue queue for this, but we also at one point, and we should decide if we want to use this, we set up a separate issue queue for the demo site, where we could create issues like, create a content model, very specific issues for that site. Because like creating an issue to like add some sample content to the demo site doesn't make sense in the core issue queue, right? So we could, we could use this other issue queue for that.
Maybe I mean the home for the initiative is actually the forums, right? Like there's the post in the forums for it. So I think today what I can commit to is I'll add a comment to the thread on the forum thing, saying what I think. And I mean, at this point, I can make a burn down list. I can make, here's the steps that we need to do when we've done all these. As far as I know now, we can release it, and I can put those in there, and then we can decide how to burn them down.
Okay.
Is that good?
Sure.
Would it be valuable to have a dedicated repository under Backdrop Ops for initiatives that we know are going to span more than one project? Or is that tough because people look in the core queue for stuff?
Yeah.
I know you've had this question for a long time, but I just didn't know.
So I say that statement, right? It's like it's go ahead.
You could make a project on GitHub. So GitHub has like this thing for organizing a bunch of issues called a project, and it has a Kanban board.
Except that some of these issues aren't right.
That's per repository, right?
Right. No, but we could put it on the core issue queue, and then like Luke could collect a bunch of issues that are relevant to his initiative and stick them in that project.
Right. It doesn't solve the problem though. We can do that already with meta issues. We need to be able to reference issues across multiple different repositories.
No, but Joseph had a Kanban board for me, which I would love. How do I get a Kanban board for this?
So on GitHub, if you're looking at the thing, one of the top level things is projects.
Joseph, the problem though with that is that that's for a repository, and we have tasks that cross repositories, right? We have some of the tasks are .org, some of them are not related to either.
You can just do backdrop-ops pound the issue number, and it'll create a link across multiple repositories.
Okay.
So we create a duplicate issue in this queue and link into the actual issue just so that we can move the project board around.
You want to be able to create a link inside of a meta issue?
No, so we want one place where we can reference all of the different things that we need to do. But I don't think having a Kanban board is going to work unless all the issues are in the Kanban.
The same repo. Yeah.
Well, a meta issue would still work for that.
Well,
like you can just create a link to another issue.
Yeah.
It would. I mean, I'm struggling with the same thing that I think you are, Joseph, but which is for the ready to wear initiative. See, some of there might be some things that are Drupal.org related. There are some things that are on this special demo site. So these aren't core issues. and we want to be able to discuss. So like creating content for the demo site is not a core issue. It doesn't belong in the core issue queue, but we want to have an issue for it, not just a link.
All right, so I can easily just kick this particular can down the
Well,
road because
This also affects me. So for
no,
my
I know, but I'm saying as a first thing, I can make the list of the issues, which would all be in like the not yet started column of the Kanban board, and I'll put that in the forums thing, and then from there we can decide if we I'd be thrilled to have a Kanban board. I find those like super useful.
You okay with you being the only one who can add comments on all those issues?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay, so you can create your own GitHub repository to get that.
Okay.
I mean, we already created a repo for this project, right? But I don't know if it was the right solution because there's so many different places to go. So, I mean, I like the idea of having a repo with its own issue queue for an initiative, but I'm worried that that's just too confusing.
What about if there was one for all initiatives?
Maybe.
With like a project board for each one.
I'm
I'm not sure how the project boards will work, but and I'm not sure having it combined. I don't know. There's no perfect solution here. What if we use something that? What if we use a completely different tool?
Well, I mean,
more tools.
Like,
we're here because we like making tools, so it's not surprising that we keep trying to make tools.
Let's build the Backdrop website.
You could just put the issues in the correct issue queues and have a meta issue in the core repo that references those other issues.
That's what Tim did, I think.
Except Joseph,
Okay.
we have a special demo site set up. Where does the issues for that demo site go?
In the demo site repository.
Well, yeah, but then why not just use that for the whole project?
Because you also need the issues for the style guide module.
Sure.
And those go in the style guide repository. And you also need the issues for Backdrop core, and those go in the core queue. And you need the ones for project module, and those go in the project queue. Doesn't really matter where you put them on to organize it, I guess. Whatever works for you, Luke. If you want your own project with a Kanban board, that's fine. If you want to use Trello, that also works.
I use Trello all the time for all sorts of little things, actually. So,
all right,
yeah.
close this tab. Oh, just close my whole browser. Oops.
Okay, but I will, for now, put a burn down list as a comment on the forum topic.
Yeah, I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. I'm just trying to find the best way for my own purposes as well and the other initiative, right? So for now, I just have a meta issue in the core issue queue, but I think I'm going to maybe move that to the backdrop.org issue queue because it's more generic than core. So anyways, we can experiment with that and see how it goes. Is that it on the ready to wear theme? We've only got a few minutes left in this meeting. So on our agenda, excuse me, I don't know if I want to go through all these issues that are listed here. I have two specific things I added to the agenda. Does anybody else have any usability design issues that they want to talk about today?
I have a usability issue that I don't think I see it in the list. It's the one about merging the different update pages, the update modules, update themes, and update layout pages.
Okay.
So I would like to move that forward. I will add it there, but basically the remaining issue for me to start work on it is a decision on where that page would live. Like, would it be under configuration or under reports? So I need more feedback and a decision eventually made, and then I can work on a pull request.
I'm not following you. Can you give me an issue number or explain it again?
Yes. So I'll find the issue number, bear with me. Yeah, so the issue number is 2714, which is merge all the update core module theme layout pages into a single page. So the decision has been made because it's a bit confusing. So the update themes page includes modules and vice versa. All pages include backdrop core updates. So the decision was made that we need a central place where we update everything. We list and update and allow people to update everything. My question is that these pages currently live under functionality, update modules, and appearance, update themes, and then structure, layouts, update layouts. The new page needs to encompass all that. So where should it live? Should it live under configuration, security updates, or something like that? Or should it live under reports, updates, and then?
I don't think it should live under reports if it allows you to do.
It's not a report. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an action. Yeah. Yeah.
What about putting it in the development section?
Well, it's not a development task, is it?
Replacing code. What's currently?
Well, a developer would see it like that, but a site owner would see it as a system. I would say update.
Well, system is the place to put everything we don't know where to put.
Exactly. Which is this case.
Is this the case? Hold on, let me see.
This is the case. So yeah, anyway, I just need feedback on where people think that the best fit would be so that people intuitively can find this place. And I mean, there's workarounds or additional UX improvements, as in they don't need to know where the place is. If they go to the site status report, it would say that there's pending updates. They will click a button. It would take them to the updates page. So yeah.
Give me the issue number again, Gregory.
Sorry, 2714.
Okay.
And I'll provide a link as well.
Okay. Well, I might have to think about it and try to comment on the issue because I don't have a good idea right now.
Thanks.
I'm going to look at where Backup and Migrate's putting its stuff.
Yeah. So I had two things, one of which is and I don't know if we have time to talk about either of them. I'll mention them we can talk about them later. Issue 4113, Jen, I think that is was better defaults for breadcrumbs, and you have jumped in and said you have a better idea about using
Basis.
I have an idea for an alternate approach if we need to move the title, blah, 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 using theme overrides. And
We're talking about moving them around in Basis, or do you want to move them around for all themes?
Well, I think we had decided on Basis for this theme. I was primarily concerned with Basis. And I think that some of the discussion indicated that it would be better if we're making a change like this to just do it in Basis, but there could be a case for doing it overall. I don't know.
Okay, so I have an idea for how to do it in just Basis, but moving things around like that does change front-end markup. And so we run the same risk of like breaking existing sites that might be using Basis or a Basis subtheme if we move, like if they'd written additional CSS that had targeted something. So this sort of goes against our we're not going to break Basis thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like conflicted because I also agree with you that there's a new, better location. Is the current approach with the config, is that only for new sites? Yes,
it's just changing the default layout. So it only affects new sites.
Okay. I'll look at that again.
Okay. We don't have to resolve this today, but it's one thing I just need, like I wanted to go back and look at this issue and I'm not quite sure what to do with that feedback. This is a big topic and it might actually tie into the documentation, but I forget if it was John Franklin or Graham, but somebody recently posted a suggestion for a what is the equivalent of a help module, right? A little, and then I found an existing issue that Jen, I think you started a long time ago, 3707 about, let me see if that was your issue. It's basically tool tips with help tips. It seems to me I've heard during previous meetings where somebody said, oh, this sounds like we're trying to rebuild the help module. And I don't remember exactly how the help module worked. And I'm just wondering, like, what the history has been around. Like, did we take that out for a reason? Do we want to rebuild something like that, which is basically contextual sort of tool tips to help people? Is this a good idea or not?
So just for history, the help module in Drupal 7 was never really very helpful. Same thing with Drupal 6 and every version before. There was another module in Contrib called Advanced Help that did actually make help helpful. And so I think our thought with Backdrop is like, why include something in core that's not helpful at all? Let's leave this to Advanced Help to do whatever we need done in a place where it might actually get done better. This solution, I think, was one of Greg's ideas. Was it your idea that we had in a meeting one day? The tooltip thing. What's the number of the issue again, Tim? 105?
3707.
3707. That was way off. So
yeah, so there are a few. Yeah, it wasn't my idea. It's just that I noticed that if we reduced all help text in certain pages into smaller question mark things, and I have a side-by-side comparison screenshot there, it sort of like reduces the scrolling and the amount of text that a user has to parse within a page, so it makes the page less confusing. But having said that, that's for inline help, like help that is attached to specific fields. The help module, to answer your question, Tim, was providing a big chunk of help at the top of the page, or it would link you to another page where it would provide like a full tutorial or user guide on this specific subject. I recently checked how WordPress are doing that, and they're doing it impressively easy and intuitive. So there's a link at the top which indicates that there's help. You click it, something falls down, and then sort of like expands over the page. So it doesn't push content over, it just expands, explains what it is, and you can hide it. So it doesn't require page load. It provides any kind of information. And yeah, I'm not sure if it should be part of core or not. Like I'm undecided, and I don't have any hard feelings about either way. So the way that, Tim, for your benefit, the way that things worked with help in core was that each module, Contrib or core, could provide a function, which was hook help. So in other words, it would be, I don't know, web form underscore help, and then it would add a bit of text, and that would show up as the help text for that specific module, the configuration page.
Well, I just raised this because John, go ahead.
I was gonna say that was the help module in Drupal 7. That's how it worked.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just raised this issue because John Franklin 2 weeks ago opened this issue, add dragon help module, which I think is the same as it's issue 4680. And I think it's basically the same as 3707. And I felt like I'd heard sort of skepticism about trying to build this kind of system in core before, but I wasn't sure. So I guess basically my question is this something we've ruled out, or is it something we want to entertain, even if it's not like a short-term priority?
So the idea there was that it's better to provide help and tutorials outside the module and link to these from the module if need be. So in order to help, especially because adding things in, at least in Drupal core, was lengthy, time consuming for changes to get in. Useful text would take a long time in order to be incorporated. So if the help text lived as a tutorial on d.org, for example, it was easier to be updated by the community. So that was the idea. So instead of having something that is harder to update within core itself, we would allow it to live somewhere else and link to it. That was the idea. What's that issue number again? 4480, you said?
4680. is the new issue, but I think it's basically the same as the 3707. Both of them are basically just tooltips. I think John Franklin's idea was that there be a little dragon icon that you hover over to get tips, and in the original issue, it was just like a question mark. So other than that, I feel like they're the same proposal.
Yeah, it's different implementation of basically the same idea, providing inline help. There's
Right.
also a tooltip module. Maybe it was an experimental module that they tried to put in core. Maybe it was a contrib. Jen, I'm not sure if you remember, which would actually provide balloon tips, like contextually, so the help text would pop up. It was called the tour module,
Yeah.
which would have next thing. So yeah.
Okay.
Again,
Well, I'm interested in this idea. There's so many other things. I'm not sure it's a priority, but I wanted to at least understand the history and like whether or not there's even support for something like this, or if it's something that we had decided we didn't want in core. And it sounds like people are still open to something like this, but
I'm definitely open to it. I don't know that it belongs in core.
okay.
yes.
I would love to see it developed in contrib, and then, you know, because it is a standalone thing, it'll be pretty straightforward to drop in later if we decide we like it. But my concern is that we'll end up with like, oh, we have this use case for it. We'll put in these 2 pages where we have help, and then it dies there. And so I don't think it'll ever become full featured enough to be valuable in core, which is what happened in previous
Sure.
Drupal. So if that does happen, we put it in contrib and it makes a big difference, then it'll be good to move in core.
Right, but
So, yeah,
can it work in contrib if really one of the use cases is for us to better document core features?
well, in contrib there could be a sub module base that required that was called, I don't know, tour or help core, which included everything. And it would
Yeah, I mean,
allow it to
this is
move
how
faster.
token module works in Drupal 7, right? It provides tokens for all of the core stuff, and just the name of its hooks, like it would have a like layout underscore help. And then that, when we move it to core, that function gets moved into layout module. So you can call the hooks from a contrib module pretending as though you're core, and it would work exactly the same.
Right. I guess what I'm thinking about though is like, I think John Franklin brought this up, and that we were, you know, arguing about like what inline text help we were going to provide for a specific feature. And he's like, well, you know, why provide that inline text? Why not have this tooltip? And it seems to me like these, if we did this in contrib, we'd end up with both, right? We couldn't depend on the tooltip because unless what the tooltip did was it automatically took whatever was inline.
Yeah, there's contrib themes that do that now for Drupal, where they take all of the text and like put them into little question mark tooltip things.
Well, this is enough to get me thinking more about it, which is all I wanted. So
If you spin up a demo site in Simply Test Me of Drupal 8, there's a core module which is called Tour.
yeah,
And then there's this contrib module which is called Tour UI, which allows you to add tooltips via the UI. So
Okay.
I've provided a link there. So that's something to think about.
okay. Well, that's all I had. We're past 3 o'clock. The dev meeting is supposed to
Yep.
start. Should we wrap this up? Anything else? Okay.
Mm,
Well, let's wrap this up and start the dev meeting. Well, Jen, do you want to end the recording? Bye, everybody.